Yeah.
It looks like he already has 2 kids, but...
and she's hollering at him like, yeah, but don't mess around with that one bitch. You know she's easy.
Yeah, never trust a girl named Lustia.
Grown-up, human, comic, people! Grown-up, human, comic, people!
Certainly not now. So welcome to the show. We're back with I guess this will be episode 18 because we'll probably divide that last one into 2.
Is it? I labeled these wrong in my
No,
computer.
is it 18?
Go ahead.
17?
I don't know.
I thought we were on
Whatever you want
This
to
will
do.
be
bud.
17.
This will be
17.
17. Okay, 17. Yeah. Well, I was just assuming the last one was like 2 hours. Well, if the last one's 1, then this will be 17.
The last one can be a special.
So this is episode 17 of Grown-Up Human Comic People. We are the humans. I'm going to go around. We still have our very special guest with us. He'll have to leave. He said he has a dinner date.
Unexpected.
Unexpected dinner date. Yeah, that's understandable. So Rick Seaback will be with us.
But it's also unexpected that you take this long to do these.
Well, it's a festivity.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. My
I
wife
appreciate
needs to
that.
hear that.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
She's
It's
like,
really nice.
why do you guys take so long? I'm like, we do. That's what we do.
Not every podcast has a kielbasa pierogi break
true.
and also a donut start, a donut and baked good start.
Yeah. Yeah.
We span all 3 meals with the podcast.
I think good things take a long time.
Yeah.
I'm totally impressed.
That's huge, right?
I'm very.
Thank you.
It's less about the audience and more about us.
Yeah. People are listening to this and like, fuck, they can fuck off. Like, they have no idea. Like, the experience we're experiencing is just,
We'd like you all to be here. If you're listening, we'd probably like you to be here sharing the kielbasa. And
we should do a
pierogi
live
and
one where we have like a
pierogi.
humongous
We've
spread
talked
and
about
people
that.
come in.
I often think that a lot of times when we're laughing, I kind of want to hear like the laughter in the background. Because we have people listening right now, and you can hear the laughter come through when something's really funny. But to actually have an audience, it'd be kind of cool.
It'd be cool. Yeah, we try to do that. Yeah.
What about the Oaks?
We can do that. Yeah.
Weren't we gonna-
Shout out to Joe at the Oaks. They do a great job over there. I know
Possible Live.
The theater's really nice. We might do something over there. I think it's a good idea. I mean, Rick, you've done a live podcast before. Those seem like fun, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think both the times I did the Drinking Partners, we were live. We were once at the coffee shop up in Allentown, Black Forge.
Black Forge, yeah.
And then down at the
Pittsburgh
Playwrights on Liberty Avenue downtown. So it was fun.
Yeah. We should get a live thing going. So we'll get right into it. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans, iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Grown Up Human Comic People, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram at Grown Up Humans, and let's quickly plug Dan Southside Comics.
Southside Comics, 1931 East Carson. Come on down. You can use the web too. Get all your pre-orders or orders or subscriptions, whatever you need. Website, SouthsideComicsPGH.com. Yeah, come on, check us out.
We're flying through these plugs a little fast because we're all a little bit fucked up, a little drunk. Because that first podcast took a little while and we were drinking the whole time. So.
Belly full of bread, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chris made some bread and, man, that was good.
It was incredible bread.
Good job.
Yeah. Chris, your calling is in the bread. That's where you need to be. You need to have your hands in the dough. Fuck all this banking bullshit.
Yeah.
You need to have your hands in the dough.
Yeah, and also a shout out to Lacey for the pierogies,
Delicious,
and to Natalie for the kielbasa and the halushki. We had a hell of a spread earlier.
Yeah,
as if we weren't alienating the audience enough.
Yeah, we're just telling you all this awesome stuff we did.
And we had a 16-year-old Scotch to toast this off with.
Yeah, sorry you're not.
We are
here.
the 1%, just so you know. We're filthy rich, and these are the spoils of our lives.
Far from.
Speaking of which, get my other golden slippers. These ones got dirt.
Oh, and I
spilled some 16-year-old Scotch on it.
Throw them in the trash.
A sapphire looks askew upon your slipper. Let's get another one.
What's a slipper?
A slipper.
A slipper.
I just made that up. That's a gold-plated slipper with a sapphire on it that is askew. Look it up.
Frey, bring me my slippers.
Check that Webster dictionary, okay? It's in there.
Oh, my. J-Man, tell us about the band, just for a second.
It's a band. We play rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Midnight Rose,
There you
spelled
go.
with a K.
Perfect. There it is.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zeke's Coffee for sponsoring these episodes.
Yeah, delivering the Rick Seaback special blend, and lots of good pastries.
And
Check them out, 6314 Penn Avenue.
Yeah.
Go get some.
Just Good Donuts.
Oh, yeah,
You didn't
Just
sponsor
Good
us.
They didn't
but,
sponsor us.
You know,
Yes, I'm not.
I bought them. I supported you. They were good.
Give us
Yeah.
free donuts next time.
Yeah.
Don't, actually. That's bad for me.
We don't need any more donuts. Yeah, so we'll get right. Let's go to the books. We'll just go right to the books. Our first book, we're going to have our special guest, Rick, introduce the book. Rick, you want to go ahead and tell us the title and the...
Yeah, I read all three.
Yeah.
But there's no question this was my favorite. Richard Corbin's Shadows on the Grave. And it's one of those anthology things. I read a ton of comic books when I was growing up. And I always enjoyed this kind of thing. And, the sort of on-the-page narrator that sort of introduces the characters and the situation and everything. I like all of that. But the storytelling is just really good. The artwork is phenomenal.
I really love the art, yeah.
And he's done both. So Richard Corbin is the guy behind both of them. And
Very talented.
for a long time, I thought I was going to be a puppeteer, so I really liked the first story, which is about evil puppets, and the sort of secret life of puppets. And I really, really love that maybe there really is something inside those puppets. And the second story is about landing on a desert island and eating some of the stuff there. And I think that that's sort of a cliche, but it's really beautifully done here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sort of eating something and then realizing, you have a growth.
Yeah.
The mold is starting to come out of your mouth and that kind of thing. Or, in Game of Thrones, you touch the stone people and your skin starts. I love all of that stuff, and I don't know whether it's fear of psoriasis or something like that, but I love all that kind of stuff. So that was really nice. And I don't know, each one of the stories, the one about the woman who poisons her husband and he doesn't seem to want to die.
That's great.
Also very good because she's so happy about it. And she's like the best of both worlds. And then the last one is sort of a Greek myth kind of thing, Danaus. And, I don't know. I just think as far as artwork is concerned, it is black and white, which he explains at the beginning he does because he thinks it works better in black and white. Yeah. I'm not sure of the supposed sex of Mag the Hag. Mag the Hag would tell me it's a woman.
I was confused about that too.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, I don't
guess
think
not.
And his or her buddy in fear, Gurgi Tate. That's the little intro says that. So I mean, the wordplay is really fun throughout the book and all of that, and I really like it. And even onto the back page, this little grave of horror. Shadows on the Grave, and now Grave of Horror with just like sort of a one panel story. It makes me. It reminds me of how much I love comic books. So.
Good.
What did you make of Danaus at the end? The last story, every other one of them, I felt like it was concise, it was witty. The way they ended, it was like inconsequential. Like this thing happened, and at the end of it, nobody fucking knew about it, and it was cool. You know what I mean? Sort of like the way things happen in real life. Things happen that are really impactful for certain people, and the rest of the world just keeps moving on because the boat sank to the bottom of the ocean. But the last one, Danaus, I had a hard time establishing like what was going on. It was confusing leading up to that
Same
last
here.
panel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's continued.
Yeah.
It's to be continued.
Yeah. I don't know. I think as a kid, I was always so taken with Greek myths and Roman myths and all of that, and it has that flavor. It's sort of biblical too, as far as the setting is concerned. My favorite book I think I read in 2016 was called Lazarus is Dead, and it's a novel about Lazarus, whom I never really considered as a character. The guy that Christ supposedly brings back to life,
Right. Yeah.
his last miracle, but. This guy, he's a British writer, and I'm not going to remember his name off the top of my head, but he hypothesizes that actually Lazarus and Christ grew up. So it has that sort of flavor to me. It's a I mean, he's got some sort of wife or girlfriend. Yeah, he wants to wed her. I think he says, if all goes well, I'll come back and wed you.
Once he can buy the farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of.
Remember, if I do well today, King Acrocus will reward me with money and a prize and a position in the Noxonia elite guard. Then we can buy this farm and wed.
Yeah.
It looks like he already has 2 kids, but
and she's hollering at him like, yeah, but don't mess around with that one bitch. She's easy.
yeah, never trust a girl named Lustia.
Those are sound words right there.
Words to live by, Pittsburgh and the rest of the world.
That needs to be on like a Facebook meme somewhere.
He has all those superhero muscles and all of that too. I think and I'd recommend it to anybody. I know when I was growing up, my mom, some parents don't like you to have comic books and everything. And my mother's philosophy was always, I don't care what you're reading as long as you're reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And so that was, so so comic books were okay, magazines were okay, anything as long as you're reading, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then. I mean, I had quite a collection, and I was into the whole trading thing and all of that. And then,
you told me a story when we were at the drinking partners.
One day, Molly Kerwin, who lived at the top of our street, came down. And she brought her comic books, and she said, "I want to trade," and I couldn't find my comic books. And I was like frantic. I said, "Where's my comics?" Because they were in a big box. And my older brother said I burned them.
Oh my god!
And I said, "No, you didn't. Where are they?" I couldn't believe it. It was incomprehensible, but he had burned my comic collection.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was just terrible. I mean, but brothers, sometimes I can't even remember what the problem was. But I know that my brother burned my comic book collection.
Like as retribution for some...
Yeah.
For something.
Perceived slight.
Yeah, some perceived
I can
slight.
imagine that. My mom was just telling me recently she had a cat when she was, I guess, like maybe a teenager, and she's one of 6 kids, and her brothers took the cat, like, and drove through the Liberty Tunnels and just threw it out the window.
What?
It's like,
Wow, you just took it way up a notch.
yeah. I was like, which brothers were it? Like, because she has 3 brothers and one of them's
Which one
dead.
of my uncles did this?
Yeah, like which one do I know whose tires to flatten? And
That's all you would do to him?
Jesus Christ!
oh yeah, like to begin with, yeah.
But there's something crazy though, because my dad's 65, right? And my mom's in her late 50s, and they told me that, like, growing up, kids, not so much my mom, but my dad and my mom's brothers, my uncles, they were like, kids would take and do terrible things to cats, right. Like as like a thing, like an activity, like like putting them in a bag, throwing them off a bridge or something, or firecrackers, involving firecrackers. What? I don't know anybody in my entire life. I've never encountered a single person who was like, "You want to hear about this funny thing I did?" Right. Ever.
Yeah, like torturing, especially.
So what happened 50 years ago?
I don't know.
Maybe, Rick, are you from? Have you?
I'm that old.
Was this a thing?
We never had a cat. We always had dogs. We loved our dogs.
This might be an appropriate time for me to tell the time that I tried to cook and eat a cat once.
What?
Gather round, kids. Pull up your stools.
Oh no!
It was a meatloaf I named Cat.
All right, go ahead.
One time, when I was a wee youngin'.
Is this fiction or nonfiction?
This is nonfiction. Most of my friends here can. I've told this story numerous times. There's numerous cat stories, but this is the one that is the most PG. It's not the best one.
No, it's not the best one.
I can't tell the best one. But one time, when I was in high school, a very long time ago, we did a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. And we had a very good friend who went to Penn State and was a chemist and created a brand new drug. So, I mean, this is what's going to kill me, even though I took it like 15 years ago. I know. It's made out of like borax and matchstick heads and, a gypsy button somewhere. We have no idea what was actually in this drug.
Eye of Newt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely Eye of Newt.
But my friends and I, we were, young and rebellious, and we liked to do drugs. So we were like, yeah, give it to us. And we were getting it for free. And it was like next to nothing. I mean, if you dropped on a counter, you would look at it and you'd be like, I'm going to wipe this away. This is dirt. This is not anything that can be consumed. And it was really weird. You would have to snort it. I think you could consume it, but most people snorted it. And then you would feel sick for like 5 minutes or so. You'd feel weird. And then it would be like a combination of like a really intense weed body high mixed with like LSD or mushrooms for like 12 hours. So it's a commitment. I mean,
wait a minute. A lot of people? You just said a lot of people snorted it. So like people were like, "Yep, we're going to do this."
A lot of people. Well, it was a free drug, and I don't. It was a free drug. It was a free drug. Okay?
Man, when your reality is such that
it's high school.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
it wasn't reality at all.
Yeah, no.
So, my friends and I were this is in a time of our lives when sleepovers are a thing. Mm-hmm. So, we're over at my friend's house, and I'm sitting there, and we're all pretty lit off this stuff. We're probably like 4 or 5 hours in, and I look over and I say, I'm going to leave names out of this, obviously, because these people don't want this story told. And I said, hey, so-and-so, if I catch your cat, can I cook and eat it? And he burst out laughing and said, yeah, if you can catch a cat in the state that you're in, you can cook and eat it. So I said, all right. And I had preparation for this. I thought, you know what? I'm committed. I'm on drugs. So I go over to the oven, and I turn it on, and I get a big pot of water, and I put it on the stove, because at this point in my life, I'm like, you got to boil this cat. What else are you going to do? There's a lot of hair on this cat. I'm not going to shave it. I'm going to boil it.
Is that how you get rid of hair as you boil it off?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
I was going to say, this is a wise person for high school.
Yeah.
I have been wise beyond my years. Yeah, that hair's just going to fall.
There's more
right
than
out.
one way to skin a cat.
Exactly.
Apparently one of those boiling.
You can boil a cat, okay? Plus, I figure like I might be able to make cat broth later. Nutrients.
Right,
you
sure.
cook all the nutrients out of your food when you boil it. So, and that's not true. So I say, okay, this is happening. I get a nice, good boil on there, and I go and I start hunting this cat. I take off my shirt. I put on the Rambo, like, under the eyes.
You can't hunt a cat with a shirt on. Nobody
No.
does that.
Who hunts a cat with a shirt on? Nobody. And this is a nice suburban house out in Monroeville, so there's many a room. And I go on all fours because I have to become one with the cat. You need to know what a cat's like in order to catch a cat, all right?
Obviously.
Yeah. So we go from room to room. Also, this is a house cat that doesn't know it's being hunted, so it's just casually walking from room to room. And I'm on all fours, and my friends are just walking normally and talking like, you're a fucking idiot. Why are you trying to hunt a cat? It's right. It's 2 feet in front of you. Just grab it if you really want to kill this thing. But no, I didn't do that. But also cats, especially cats that are being held by half-naked men, don't like to be held by half-naked men. So I finally catch it. By finally, I mean 15 minutes later of just slowly crawling after it. And I grab it, and it just immediately starts shredding my skin. Like, it's ripping all of the flesh off of my chest. There's blood everywhere.
I can't say I feel bad.
And,
In Soviet Russia, cat skins you.
and I'm just all happy that I caught the cat, and I have the cat by the chest, and it's screaming, and my friends are dying of laughter at this point. And I realize how dark this story is, that I'm trying to eat this cat. I know that. And I'm like, all right, I caught the cat. I lost a quart of blood, but I caught the cat, and I am going to enjoy my spoils victory here. So I get the cat over the pot of boiling water, and I'm pushing the cat into the water.
Wait,
What?
wait. You got any part of that cat into the boiling water?
I got the cat freaking out with the tail flying all around it, and I'm pushing the cat into the water, and it's
Wait a
ripping.
minute.
Hold on. Wait for the end of the story. Just, I know you.
Humane
Relax.
Society's going to come after you. They're going to be knocking
let
on
him
your
finish the
door.
story.
So I finally get the cat dunked into the water after I'm bleeding. My entire chest is just full of blood. I have scratches all over my face. Cat jumps out of the water, flies away. My friends are dying of laughter. So what really had happened was I was really high on this drug, and I put a pot of cold water on top of the dishwasher. And I started the dishwasher. And I put a cat, and I gave my friend's cat a bath, and I did their dishes. It was the nicest thing somebody on drugs could possibly do in a situation like that. The cat smelled great. I put the dishes away. The worst thing that happened in this situation was I used all of their Band-Aids. And there was a blood spot on their carpet that was my own blood.
Oh, my God.
So, kids, don't do drugs and don't eat cats.
Or attempt to.
Good story.
Thank you.
Rick, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
We can take we'll take a little.
No, don't take a break. Just keep working and get to those other 2 magazines because that's what you need to do. And I thank you very, very much for including me.
Oh,
Thanks, Rick.
It was a pleasure, man. Thank you.
So we're go move on to the next one, I guess.
We didn't say if we all liked it. And
Oh yeah. I think it's safe to say that Rick enjoyed that one. He said it was his favorite one.
Yeah.
So we'll go around and say. Actually, what other impressions? I personally I liked it a lot.
my favorite story was the first story.
Yeah,
I agree.
the puppet one.
Yeah, the way he drew those puppets.
Yeah.
They look scary as fuck.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
They have no lips
Yeah,
and nose holes.
yeah. And they look when they were being puppets on the stage in front of the kids, they had makeup on and shit. And then once they were not performing anymore, they looked like they were just. Were they actually puppets or were they actually little people?
They were like little gremlin.
They're
type.
little mutant people. I don't know.
Yeah, they were actually little people, I think.
It looked like they were carved out of wood.
Huge
but
eyes
they-
and big
yeah,
mouth.
they were. Yeah, and then the no lips thing is what got me, and the big eyes
Yeah.
with no eyelids.
It's
Their
horrifying.
teeth were huge too.
But the majority of the people in this comic looked like a mongoloid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's a socially acceptable term.
I don't think it is.
What do you do to talk about people who have features that are indicative of either a chromosome missing or incest?
He
or
draws creepy half-breed looking people.
they're fucked up looking, man.
I'm pretty sure that these are actually supposed to be little people because they're not made of wood.
Yeah.
They have little nipples and there's no joints that you can see. They are definitely actual flesh and blood things. They're just very small people. Right there, you can see he has no shirt on. He's not he has muscles and shit. So these are really actually little people.
Yeah, and when Rick was talking about these little guys and he called them evil. I thought they were actually good.
The little people?
Yeah,
I would say
Yeah,
they were just
I
little
wouldn't call them
slaves.
evil puppets. I would call them
They do murder him. I mean, but he's a terrible person.
But, I mean, they've
I'd
been
murder somebody too if they were fucking beat me on the head with a belt and they were 10 times my size.
Yeah, they were definitely basically slaves.
Yeah.
And also they aren't the ones. I just realized they're not because there's a puppet behind. Unless it's his costume, there's a puppet behind.
I think those are the costumes.
There's their costumes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the way these people look. He did say in the first on the inside of the cover that the setting for these is mainly vintage Midwest American.
Right.
So
That's how everything looked in the Midwest in
I
the
guess.
40s. The Grapes of Wrath, everybody looked like that.
No, I thought back to the way you mentioned how people were drawn. Danaeus, on one page, he looks like Andre the Giant. That face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a disorder.
Yes.
He has some disease that caused him to.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Yeah.
But the thing I thought was cool, Danae's. I loved everything up until the last story. The last story was really difficult to follow. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Maybe they'll explain it. Maybe it'll be elaborated on in future issues.
Yeah, but at the same time, it seems like kind of a weird flip where you have this is one issue. Within that one issue, you have 4 stories, and 3 of them are very concise, beginning, middle, end, and there's just a neat little idea to think about. Little Twilight Zone episode, Tales from the Crypt, whatever. And then the last one, not only is it the one that drew me in the least, but it's clearly not concise enough to squeeze into one issue. Like I don't know, like how it just seems kind of imbalanced having that one thing kind of floating on the end there. If this story of Danaeus was really too long to squeeze into one of the 4 segments here, then I feel like you could divide it up a little bit better over the course of issues. Like I don't think it's worth it having it stretch out into a second comic issue. I'm not saying this very concisely, but you know what I mean?
I think it was meant to be a cliffhanger that was poorly executed.
I agree.
See, I think it's more of kind of a like this seems, since this is an anthology series, and some things like this, like you'll have a bunch of individual things, and then you'll have one thing that kind of goes on. It's like a longer run. This whole thing feels very like 1950s, pulpy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked about it, and the fact that there's like an ongoing thing at the very end. It reminds me of like other things that I've seen from that time period where they're like, and stay tuned next week for the ongoing adventures of like this one character from this thing from before. Like the individual stories were awesome because they're very concise. You get 3, here it is, 3 of those, and then you get one that's like, and stay tuned next week.
It's a continuing.
Yeah. And
Wait,
I thought that was cool.
there were 2. Oh no, the farm, the plane, the farm, the island, the puppets.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. I couldn't remember. I kept forgetting about the farm.
Yeah. I felt like there was a lot of value in this book.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got 4 stories. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, for $4.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, it was. I loved the way, and it was ironic or coincidental that Rick is also reading Lazarus is Dead or whatever that story is. Because the same thing I loved about this is the same thing I loved about Twilight Zone, is the same thing I loved about The Outer Limits, is the same thing I loved about Tales from the Crypt. It's like, shit happens, you die, nobody fucking notices.
Right.
That's it, man. That's the end. It's like the chick, she makes it off the island. Her husband turns into a fucking tree monster. She turns into a tree monster. The natives sink her boat to the bottom of the ocean. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
End of the line.
Like some weird shit happens, and then like people's I forget there's a word for it. In order to maintain like their own kind of sanity, they like it's like cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, where they just I can't talk right now. Everyone else just says like, "Oh, remember that weird thing that happened? Oh, kind of. What happened again?" Like it could be weird as shit, and like you could witness it yourself, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that was years ago." No, I actually don't even remember what happened. Because whatever fucking happened was so strange that you can't wrap your mind around it.
Right.
And you just kind of like, I'm just going to write that off as, didn't understand that. I'm going to forget about it.
And then you just start filling in those memories, and you start like telling the story over and over and over again until you start filling in the gaps that like where the weird shit happened with like the things that, this is probably what happened until it becomes that's what did happen.
Yeah.
But in reality, when your ship sinks and ends up at the bottom of the ocean, the natives keep on fishing.
Right.
Like that, I feel like that's a great analogy for existence, or a great metaphor for existence is when your ship sinks to the bottom of the ocean, the natives continue fishing.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I love also about that story? That might be my favorite one. It's kind of neck and neck with the puppets. Is whenever their plane first crashes on that island, and they're walking around before the husband starts eating the fruit, which turns him into that tree growth. They're walking around, and I think it's the wife that comments and says, "Oh, these trees look really strange here." Mm-hmm. So you think, like, how many other people are like? How many of these, like, each tree that you see used to be a person from years ago, but has rooted themselves in the ground here.
Yeah.
How many stories are left untold in these couple of pages?
Yeah, I would love to see this as a TV show. Like put it on the Outer Limits or Twilight Zone or something, because they all felt the same. Or like Tales from the Crypt, like a little, each story is maybe 5 minutes long. And you get like, say, I don't know, like 6 stories per episode or something like that. But yeah, each one, I really liked all of these. The Danaeus one was probably the weakest one at the end.
Danaeus was definitely the weakest.
Yeah.
But the rest of them felt like a fucking dark version of what's that genre of the genre of literature from the 20th century, magical realism.
Yeah.
Fantastic realism, magical realism.
Yeah.
Like Gabriel Marquez.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything's normal except this one weird thing.
Yeah.
You know, everything's totally normal, but there's this weird thing that happens. Nobody will ever know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Loved it.
Yeah. Well,
So cool.
would you read it, Dan?
Yes. I
Chris?
liked it.
I might actually buy the second one.
Nice. Wow. That's
I loved it.
That's the whiskey talking.
Dan will give you $5 right now. Just bring it to me next time.
It only costs $4.
J-Man.
Yeah, it was very good. One thing I do want to say that nobody really talked about is the cover of this.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
fantastic.
Oh, it is,
Probably
yeah.
this is my favorite cover probably of anything that we've done so far.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
It's so good. And also, it's Keller and the rest of the book is
Yeah.
black and white, but they only make use of basically 2 Kellers on this.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just so great.
Yeah,
gnarly.
the cover is the reason why we picked it, like from the previous books. I saw it and I'm like, wow, that looks pretty cool. Like
I looked to see if I could get a print of this made to hang up in my house.
that'd be
'cause
awesome.
It's so fucking sick.
I think the only cover that is as cool is the one. What's the one with the 45 where she's blown her brains out, but like
Reborn.
Yeah.
That was
Reborn with that was
good
fucking
too.
sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Like
Yeah.
those are neck and neck for the coolest covers.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing about it is they printed it on the cheaper paper
Yeah.
on the inside to make it more
Yeah.
nostalgic or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but they didn't pass that value on to you at all because it's $4.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a dick move.
That's just shitty,
Because
yeah.
this was clearly a lot cheaper to make than any of these other books.
Well, don't
we
they
did.
say it's black and white not because we're cheap, but they say but we kind of are. Like
Yeah.
Not because we're broke, but we are.
Yeah. They said something like that at the beginning.
I actually wanted to comment on that, and I wanted to get, Dan, your insight on this because you own a comic shop, so you have more insight than the rest of us. I felt when I initially saw what this was, as much as I agree and love the content of it, for $4, so that's like Pennsylvania tax, probably $4.27, $4.28 total that you're going to spend on this comic and buying it. Yeah. And I also felt that it was fairly... like a little bit cheap on their part, like you stated, because of the feeling of like the recycled, almost newspaper-esque paper on the inside here. Yeah. At what point can you justify the price for this for the materials used? And am I off base completely?
No, the thing that I don't think we realize are the page numbers. Like, I think the page count is significantly higher than a typical comic book. But also, there are no ads in here.
That's true too.
So that
Didn't even notice that.
That pay like ads pay for certain things in the production of a book. So without the ads, it's more money out of their pocket to put it out this way. So, for $4, like here's the way I look at it. So this costs $4. You get 4 stories, 3 of which we all agree are solid, and the 4th one is questionable. But you can go and spend $6 on a Marvel book that is full of half ads, a summary page, and an epilogue page that have nothing to do with the book. The value here is much more significant, despite being in black and white and on cheap paper, than one of the Marvel books that have come out. In my opinion.
I'm glad that I asked that question because you actually sold me on my own worries of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, remember when you're looking at a smaller publisher book, if there are ads or not. And if there are no ads, that means that the cost of production is a lot higher for the book. And I would rather pay. I mean, they could have put this out for $2.99 and had ads. Every 4th page.
Yeah, and there's a lot of content in there too.
Yeah, I'm glad that there are no ads in here because I think it
probably
just
may
moves.
have detracted from my experience now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, having everything right next to each other is less jarring than having
And having a Bazooka Joe ad in the middle of that is just going to take away from...
Yeah. Same with Image does a lot of most of their books don't. Do any of their books have ads in them?
No, not really. They'll do some will do ads at the end for upcoming
other
Image books.
Yeah,
but I know we did Renato Jones. There are no ads in there except for the
ads. Fake ones that are for the book.
Yeah,
which is really funny.
Which is funny, but yeah, there are no other ads in there. So
yeah,
this and plus it goes all the way to the cover pretty much. which I liked. And like, I mean, I guess you could say there could have been ads like in between the stories, but I don't know. Like, I kind of like seeing Mag the Hag at the end of the one story, and then boom, there he is again at the start of the next one on the next page. You know, it just keeps the flow going. Like, you don't really lose any interest.
Yeah, like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
Or who's the guy for on the Twilight Zone?
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that character.
Yeah, your guide.
Introducing you.
Your spirit guide throughout the Tales of
Right.
the Weird.
Right, like your shaman.
Yeah.
Or, whatever.
He's guiding you through
Your
this place.
facilitator.
It's like without. I love the. I always thought that with that or with Tales from the Crypt or something, you have this person who's guiding you through, and without them, you'd probably be at great risk.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be in danger if it weren't like sitting there like, check out this story, and if don't leave my side because it could become fucking dangerous.
Right, right.
Yeah, and in fact, that itself could be a cool story where, like, say you're with Rod Serling or something, and he's taking you through the Twilight Zone. Like, you get lost, and he doesn't know where you went, and then you get lost in the fucking Twilight Zone. Some weird ass shit happens to you.
Like, get lost in one
of
episode.
the stories.
But once you're lost, what you realize is you've entered in
to the actual Twilight Zone.
To this place where the multiverses converge and all this shit happens. You know, the fucking pig face people, the lost astronaut,
It's like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, and it's all game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what would be really cool is if you had something like Black Mirror. Does anybody watch Black Mirror?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Black Mirror is incredible, but that's like our modern day Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt. It's a little more subdued.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
more fantastical elements
I think
of it.
less fantastical.
Depends on which one you're talking about.
A little more subdued in the fantastical. So I
Oh,
was
subdued in the fantastical. Yeah.
So, no, I agree with you. It is. But it would be what you're talking about would be a cool concept of having something like that where you have the narrator who establishes the rules that the only reason you're allowed to see this is that I'm here. Otherwise, this could be catastrophe for you. Yeah. And in the final episode, something happens to him and you witness it. And it's like, we don't know what's going to happen to you now.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool ending to something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. And then just leave it there. Leave it there.
That's it. There's nothing else after that.
Leave it there for a fucking decade. And then, like, I don't know, maybe do another run.
Right. And the next run comes upon the person who was stranded there in the first place.
Right. And now they're old as fuck. They're like, whatever. 10 years, but they look like they aged 30.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That would be rad. Good idea, Chris. Netflix, if
you're
listening, which I'm sure you are.
That was a collaborative idea. I was just feeding off everyone else. I can't. But Netflix, you owe us money.
Yeah.
Grown-up humans, we're willing to talk deals.
Yeah.
We're willing to talk turkey. So come up with something. Throw it at us.
Hashtag talk turkey. All right, let's go to rock stars. Old Greg, you want to do this?
Greg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
That's that right on. So, rock stars. This is a book that we read for today. As soon as I can get this tape open, it's.
Wait a minute. You're going to talk about a book that we read for today?
You bet. Yeah.
You know what, Greg? I'm gonna take one for the team here. I did not read this book.
Oh.
No, that's not true.
Guess what it relates to? The most generic name I've probably ever heard for anything.
Yeah.
Rockstar's terrible fucking
Horrible
title.
name.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with the title because
Nativity and Blacklight.
yeah.
Wait, what?
That's the name of the issue.
It's the name of the issue. Nativity and Blacklight. Rock stars.
Okay.
Nativity. That pronunciation is new to me. Sorry.
For you. It's just for you.
Chris can mispronounce anything.
Yeah.
His superpower is being able to mispronounce every word in the English language.
No, it's night.
Put the wrong emphasis on every word.
Emphasis.
Of the syllably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dan thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Just the way that Greg stared down in his at the book did not address Chris nativity. That pronunciation is new to me. I won't address this directly.
Oh, jeez. So, all right. Anyway, there have been cheesy things that are on the subject of like, even if I enjoy a subject, that doesn't mean that everything that deals with that subject is good. And specifically, I can remember, like, my niece was like 7. She said, "Greg, there's this movie. It's a Disney movie. It's called Camp Rock. You should watch it because it's about rock." I was like, I don't think I'm going to like it. And we sat down and watched it. And it has the Jonas Brothers in it. And I'm like, Sam, what are the guitars plugged into? They're not plugged into anything. She's like,
so this is just you ruining a movie for a kid.
yeah. And she's like, shut up. And I said, you hear drums, don't you? She said, yeah. I said, where's the drummer? She's like, it's the Jonas Brothers, though. And I said, okay. Anyway, so this book is called Rock Stars. I had a similar expectation when first sitting down with this, because as Jer said, it's a terrible title. This book is from Image. It's let's see, what are the credits? Writer Joe Harris. Megan Hutchinson is the artist. Colorist Kelly Fitzpatrick. Letterer Michael David Thomas. Designer Tom Muller. Editor Shauna Gore. Much longer cast of credits than we're used to. Usually it's only 2 or 3, and then this is 6. Anyway, but it's cool. At the same time, though, I've just to get this out of the way. Although I'll say I found it enjoyable, but I think that the artwork still kind of sucks.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, it's stuff could be drawn way better. I mean, right here, looking on page 2, there's a kid in the yellow T-shirt, and
His face looks real terrible.
His face looks real terrible. His arm looks really terrible.
Yeah.
There's no real 3-dimensionality to it. Yeah. I mean,
not in like an artsy way.
It's not.
Look at his fucking pinky finger holding the picture.
Yeah,
It's like a goddamn set of nail clippers.
It's pretty bad.
What page are you on?
I'm on. This will be page
page.
3, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
page 3.
So
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I it's not that much better than I could draw, and I can't draw anything. So I figured if I like tried really hard and took a really long time, I would be not much worse than this. Yeah, usually. So anyway,
The coloring wasn't bad though.
The coloring is
art
cool.
shit,
Coloring
the
is cool,
pretty
yeah.
good.
yeah, the coloring is cool. It had the hues and everything. There's a wide palette. I do like that. The one chick's drawn pretty slutty. Actually, I think they spent all. I think they spent all of their time on this panel with the cleavage because that looks pretty good.
Yeah, look at the before and then her after.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
How did her hair turn into that?
She looks more Asian later on.
But look at her hair in the before picture.
It's way shorter.
How does it grow that much?
Yeah, she grew some hair.
Maybe she had it in the... I have no idea.
It looks horrible.
She had it in a pony.
Yeah. That's
She let it down.
But it doesn't look like a pony in the first one.
Damn, she got herself a weave, y'all. What's up?
Yeah, they got some weed.
Yeah.
In one comic panel,
Oh, yeah.
with an onomatopoeia that makes no sense to me. Sherp.
It's her ripping
No,
her.
but in her hand, she does have fake hair in her hand.
Oh, there is a weave.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I've missed that
nice.
entirely.
Just when we thought Greg was just being racist, no, there's actually weave.
See, that shows that even when I try to be racist, I can't be.
Hashtag can't be racist.
Yeah.
Greg can't be racist. Right.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Anyway, look, just as an overall thing, without going through a synopsis of the story, just in an overarching sense, I just want to say there's mythology and folklore to music, to rock music of the 1970s, and there's a fictional band in this story called another terrible name, Blue. What is it?
Blue Thunder, Gray
Blue
Thunder,
Rider?
Blue Rider. That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Which is clearly Led Zeppelin.
Oh, clearly. Yeah.
Definitely Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, as they're going through the descriptions, like the guitarist is whose name is Jimmy James is involved in the occult, and they talk about like all the tours of excess and some groupie having sex with a mud shark and stuff. Like, okay, I've read Hammer of the Gods from Stephen Davis. I know that this is obviously they're drawn similarly to Led Zeppelin and all that stuff, but they just have a way worse band name, Blue Rider.
No, and the writer talks about that on the last couple pages about how much he was influenced by Led Zeppelin and how he was
Hammer of the Gods.
yeah. No, even beyond that. So this is still part of the comic, but
This here. Oh, I didn't
yeah.
read that part.
Yeah. So if you go,
Okay. Oh
So-
yeah, I did read that part actually.
Did I read that part?
there's there are very distinct parallels, and it's not an accident between Blue Rider and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And whatever. The paganism and
So for because there probably are Led Zeppelin fans listening, and so for those of you listening, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, if you've happened to have read the book Hammer of the Gods, which I did twice, it's think about the kind of mythology that's in there, and like the whole Aleister Crowley stuff and a cult or whatever. Now picture a fictional story that takes that premise as though it were truth. And that's what this story is. And there's only one other thing. I've mentioned the 87 movie Crossroads with Ralph Macchio before. Mm-hmm. That movie does a similar thing where they take the mythology of Robert Johnson selling a soul at the crossroads to the devil for his guitar playing ability, which is just a rumor that people started because it was one of the first blues guitar players that sounded good. Took that as though it were truth and made a movie about it, making a deal with the devil and all this stuff, as though that actually were not fiction. that process applied to Led Zeppelin under a different name, that is this comic book Rockstars. And it's after the death of a couple of groupies, and they're like forming this sisterhood cult or something, and it's some investigative music journalist who's looking into it, and this other kid. Anyway, so that's kind of the path this takes.
I think that we've mentioned the movie Crossroads on this podcast more than anyone has ever mentioned the movie Crossroads.
Yeah.
On anything ever.
It's a sweet-ass movie.
It's a sweet-ass movie.
You like the Karate Kid, but like with guitars.
Yeah. Specifically
And
Karate Kid Part 2.
the devil.
Yes, yeah. Steve Vai.
Yeah.
Like I said, the devil. Well, no, Joe Satriani is the devil.
yeah, he's cool.
But I enjoyed it. If it's anything, the first...
Wait.
I wasn't saying he was the devil because he's cool. It's not. Joe Sat just doesn't impress me. I don't know. He's so fucking weird.
I don't know, man. He's got those weird teeth. He's pretty good at guitar.
No, he's good. He's really good at guitar. It's
Wears
just
those funny hats.
I feel like he's the poster boy though for like just guitar wanking. It's like wanking. Too
and
much
the fact
guitar.
that they play him at like every fucking baseball game I've ever been to.
Yeah, it's just too much guitars.
And,
I like guitars, but there's just Joe Sat just too much guitars.
Oh man, he's pretty good though.
No, I'm not saying.
I haven't
he's
listened.
bad.
In fairness, though, I haven't listened to him in like probably 12 years.
It's just
like
too
I got
much.
enough of him in
Well,
a
he
year.
sounds exactly the same as he did then.
Yeah,
Well, he's not making any new shit.
No.
it's just too much wanking. Like I can deal with a certain level of guitar wanking. Like, but man, there's listen. To
I mean, he's
Joe
dead,
Sat.
right?
No,
No.
He's not dead.
no, he's only like what? Maybe 50, right?
Yeah.
I thought he died.
Satriani, right?
Yeah, Satriani. Are you talking about Segovia?
I have no idea who you're talking about now.
I thought Joe Satriani was dead.
No,
He just
no,
came.
no, he's
he
a
was
bald
just
guy.
playing in Carnegie Hall.
Yeah,
I liked him
he's-
better when I thought he was dead.
He's the alien.
When I thought he was dead, I was like, "Oh, cool!
He
He made
just
a bunch
put
of
out
cool
a CD.
yeah.
I bought it for my dad for Christmas.
He's only
Oh.
he's only had his recording career since what, the mid '80s, late '80s.
I don't even like him anymore. I thought he was dead, and he like.
Satch Boogie was the first.
Wait a minute! I thought Joe Satriani. He's the one who did that really good cover, of Little Wing.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I'm thinking of Stevie Ray Vaughan. Fuck Joe Satriani.
I wondered.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
When you said about his teeth, I'm like, what the?
Yeah, did you ever
way
see
different.
Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yeah, dude, he got chompers on it.
Oh boy, those teeth were made for grazing. They weren't. He was not getting through any flesh with those. It was made for just plants.
No, Stevie Ray was ugly.
Yeah, he's got like brontosaurus teeth.
Yeah.
he's only eating leaves.
yeah,
Grass.
he's not a meat eater.
But it, like all of his like awesomeness went to his fingers.
Oh,
his,
yeah.
Guitar part of his brain.
If you play blues well, you are not an attractive person.
That's true.
Because otherwise, you wouldn't have anything to be too blue
Yeah.
about. Like if you're a really good person, nobody wants to hear a good-looking person. Nobody wants to hear like a beautiful person play like blues. Like you don't know how hard I've had. Like no, you haven't had it hard. You're like exceedingly good-looking. If Brad Pitt played the blues, nobody would ever go to listen to him play. Be like, this is bullshit. Look at you.
And that's why no one gives a shit when Bruce Willis plays the blues, because he's
Yeah.
fucking Bruce Willis. Like,
Yeah.
what are you sad about, Bruce?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
nothing.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother, Jimmy Vaughn, not a bad looking guy. Plays probably just as well. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Is he attractive?
Yeah.
Joe Bonamassa, though,
Yeah.
he looks like bad guy for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best. So
Dan just showed us a picture of Stevie Ray playing the guitar, and he is ugly as fuck.
he looks like a deep sea creature.
God damn. No, he just looks like someone who's missing some chromosomes. He's like horrible.
He's got
A
like
deep sea creature missing.
It looks like he has a
chromosomes.
club foot.
4 inches of gum.
He just has a foot attached to his knee.
He looks like
But the foot does touch the ground.
he looks like he would ask you for a baby Ruth.
He's always wearing a Superman t-shirt.
He's like, but no, seriously, man, do you have a Baby Ruth?
He's really strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Nobody wants to hear. Just like we talked about. I talk about. Nobody wants to hear about your good stories. Nobody wants to see a good-looking person play the blues.
No.
Nope. Have you been poor? No. Are you ugly? No. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. All your stories are probably boring.
Remember that time when everything I tried to do worked out?
Yeah. Fuck you.
Nobody gives a shit.
I want to talk to your ugly friend who's poor, who just got fired.
Yeah.
from fucking get-go.
Spent the weekend in prison. Sorry, in jail.
After he did a whole week at Get Go.
He got locked up for stealing a case of Lance crackers.
They still make Lance crackers?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Those captain's wafers, man, $0.25 a pack. That shit with like the weird fake cream cheese.
Oh,
that was
with the chives.
The
Yeah.
powdered cream cheese. It's powdered cream
Aren't
cheese.
Captain's wafers like cream cheese chives?
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
Why are they
fucking
called Captain's wafers?
trash food.
No, but like the person who's least likely to eat them on a boat is a captain. Like he has his own cabin and shit. He's not gonna eat those shitty crackers.
It was just to trick everybody. Like, I'll go with the fancy crackers.
Ooh, these are the
these are
kind the captain eats.
I'll have those. Give me what the captain's having. Like, you'd like the captain's wafers then. That shit is fucked up.
Oh man.
So this is a good
Anyway, Rockstars was all right. Shitty name,
Yeah.
shitty drawing, good coloring, good story.
Yeah, I when you said the coloring was good, like it occurred to me that it's like people's jobs to literally just
An inker.
just like color like it's a coloring book. Like like I get like a piece of art and they're like, well, I guess I got to color this in like I'm 5.
Sometimes they have a guideline for how they're supposed to color.
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So,
it's
they
like,
can't-
is
it's
there
like color by number?
Is there
easier.
a little like a key on the button? The artist is like, so here's how I'm seeing it going, and like when it's a 1, it's orange.
Yeah.
When it's a 2, it's red. Like, is that how it works? I don't know.
They do have a guideline sometimes that they say, like, I want this character to be specifically this color
Right.
and have this and this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish Pat was here. We could ask him more about it.
We could ask
Yeah.
them about it.
Yeah.
Text him right now.
I could text him right now. It might take a little while. Viewers would get the listeners would get bored. So, it is here. So, is there a numbering system for coloring?
For back.
Question.
F-O-R.
Goddamn, swipe text. Hold on. For coloring remotely.
No, there's
question
no
mark.
U in coloring. Back.
Okay. It looks like he's typing. He's typing.
Wait.
Okay, stop typing for a second.
Pat, what are you doing? What are you doing, Pat? I'm just going to call him. I'm just going to call him. I'm going to call him.
So that was a good bit we just did.
Yeah, that's
Who's on first with Paddlette?
And you mispronounced that too. Anyway, Rockstars is pretty cool. Did we didn't really like summarize.
No, I didn't really summarize it. It's just this kid who's much like Ralph Macchio, super into the
lore.
The lore, yeah, exactly. They show him like kind of with all the pieces of the puzzle sort of scattered around him in his room, and he shows up at some crime scene where there's a dead body who dies similarly to how he read some groupie died back in 1970, whatever. And while he's looking into it, he happens upon a female reporter they have their sass between them, and they follow this body to the morgue to try to get more answers. I don't know what they expect to find, and some group of supernatural-esque girls who look like groupies show up to claim the body and do some kind of ritual with it. And so, I mean, I guess that's the summary, if I could give it from without even flipping through page by page.
This band has some supernatural groupies, I think.
Groupies. Can we define what exactly groupies is? Because every once in a while, like, an old lady comes up to me and, like, if they know I'm in a band or whatever, they're like, I used to be a groupie for this band. And I'm like, you used to fuck guys in bands? Is that what
I think that's the generally accepted definition.
Yeah, did you just tell me that?
Yeah, I think that's...
Jared, man, I think what's been happening is these broads have been propositioning you. You were like a yes away from a dozen dick suckings. Like, they were just... You're like, oh, cool, you want to be a groupie for mine? And they're like... I do. Let's go.
How old are these ladies?
I fucked that all up. Usually over 40 at least.
Yeah, man.
Maybe 40 is not bad. When you're 50 and 60 plus, you'll say, yeah, man. I had that chick who at the time was 20 years younger than I am now.
I was messing with this young broad. She was like 43, you know. Oh, that's going to be us if we make it that far.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. I feel like groupie could be though just somebody who kind of hangs around with the band, like gets in free to shows and like just makes it look like they're cooler than they are. You know what I mean?
Man, like when's do people just get in for free for like not sucking dick?
Yeah, I think so.
If you don't like, if you don't suck
actually,
dick or have drugs, I don't think you're getting in anywhere for free.
No. That's that. It is a thing, and we know somebody who has done that. For not done that rather for Dave Matthews Band. Well, I'll
we know them.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. But yeah, we know like a Dave Matthews groupie, like, but not because like
that's the saddest shit I've ever heard in my life. If you're not sucking dick or selling drugs to Dave Matthews, what the fuck are you doing hanging out at a Dave Matthews Band concert?
Let's just lower it for a second. Let's lower it from the Dave Matthews level to our own audience and look over there. They're all sucking dick or dealing drugs for us right now. Okay? I don't know anybody else in this room.
If anything, we're their groupies. Like, they showed up with food, and we were like, we ran to them.
Yeah,
they didn't run. They're not,
Andy's running away right now like he's never sucked a dick before.
Yeah,
hypocrite.
Andy's a good sport. He knows he sucks a lot of dick.
Andy is a good sport.
Andy likes elephants.
Oh man.
Oh, he takes it well. Okay.
Yeah. Like a champ.
So, would we're gonna continue reading this? Dan?
No.
Chris?
No.
Jer?
No.
Greg? It's okay to say yes if you want to. Yes. If you want to say yes.
Yeah. You know, I appreciated not the overall delivery, but like there are enough cheesy moments that I got on a surface level that I'll say, yeah, I'll keep reading.
All right.
I wouldn't mind it.
Okay, Dan?
Nope.
I want to see what happens, so yes.
Yeah.
I'll pick the next one up. So Dan, if it comes across your previews book, just throw one in the folder for me.
Make sure you get one.
Okay.
Order one. That's how many you'll sell.
You are correct. I'm ordering one.
Did you actually get this book in, or we only got this one?
I got a couple in for the store, and they sat there.
Okay. So they're still there.
Yep.
So if you come down, you can pick this book up.
Actually, I took them off the shelf.
Okay. Are they in the boxes in the back?
They're in the garbage now.
Yeah, they're in the back.
Okay, it's in the back. Yeah, they're in the back of the store.
I have 3 in the store.
If you want to go on a nice little scavenger hunt, you hear this episode and you want to read Rockstars, which Greg and I both endorse.
I mean, if conspiracy music folklore is your thing, like this is probably
your only choice.
You should read. Just not my thing. So
yeah. No, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys because you guys are more in tune with this stuff, if you think it was well done, then
yeah. You said something?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go right into Grand Passion. It kind of harkens back. Danny, you want to present this? I think it's harkens back to your question from the previous episode to Rick about love at first sight.
And I think that's the one thing this book has going for it. It's well written. I like how I don't even need to look inside, but
okay.
Well. It's a well written book. The way that they did sort of this, the narrator is on the side of the pages. The characters are likable enough. The situation is cool enough. It's two bank robbers, man and a woman, and they're also presumably partners. And they're going around robbing banks. At the end of the first issue, they rob a final bank, and during the process of leaving that bank, the male bank robber is shot by this police officer. But during that exchange, the female bank robber sees this cop. They catch each other's gaze, and immediately they fall in love. And it's love at first sight, and they're both very aware of it. The police officer loses his partner. She loses her partner. At the end, she gets in the car, drives away, and talks about she comes from a long lineage of bank robbers or whatever. And the most sacred bond is that with your partner in crime. More sacred than any marriage or relationship is this bond. And it ends with her saying, no matter, I know that I love you, but regardless, I have to kill you because you killed my partner.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it weren't for that, sort of love at first sight thing, and if it wasn't that, if it weren't for me thinking about this shit, I probably wouldn't have been terribly into this book. Because it's good, but it's normal. It's a very normal book.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes that Bonnie and Clyde idea that we seem to be discovering as we read comics, but it adds a new twist to it.
Now she falls in love with the cop who at the time was trying to apprehend them.
Yeah,
and that's cool. But the story itself, it was just those last handful of panels, several panels, 2 pages. Then whenever she was like, love at first sight, it made me think, what's love? Does love at first sight exist?
What is love? Yeah, I agree. The last pages.
Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Nice job, guys.
Well done.
Right. Yes.
YouTube's going to take this off the air because of the
They can go fuck themselves.
They're going to do it again.
Yeah. No, but I think that's interesting. That's interesting because I've been thinking about all these things, and the loss of innocence, this progression of getting older and becoming callous, and thinking back to times when ghosts in love, in romance, and all of these things were very much a part of this world, this landscape I created for myself in the world. And everything felt magical. It felt like things had meanings. There weren't coincidences. There were synchronicities. And it felt nice. It felt nice to be afraid and to be excited and to all of that. And then through a process of just being alive and attending to the horse shit, it's like you start to question, is everything based on utility? Are ghosts real? There's nothing to really be afraid of except for, like Rick said, tumors, strokes, heart attacks. Mm-hmm. And once we've gotten to this place, once the calluses have set in and been established, can we get back to that place where those things can be real again? Can we choose once we've seen both sides of it?
Right.
can we then make a choice to go back? Or like the old adage goes, you can never go back home. Are we stuck here? Right. Are we stuck here seeing that we have the choice to believe that love is either a guiding force or something that another component of utility? Can we go back to that place where love is a real force that exists regardless of our belief in it?
Right. For myself, I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I try to be there a lot, to be present in the without the calluses. And I'm going to quote O.G. Mako in the most brilliant line of his song entitled "You Guessed It." Say, "Still in that place, and I'm flexing."
Damn. I don't. Maybe I just don't entirely get it, but I mean,
what I'm saying is like I try to be in a place where it's like, you know, I'm gonna like allow myself to be, you know, to live in the like the area where I can still be scared of things. I can still, you know, like I can still allow myself to like not be like, that's ridiculous. Like, you know, it's the suspension of belief. Like, say if I'm watching a movie or if I'm out, you know, if we want to go ghost hunting or to a haunted house or something, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to be like, I'm not fucking scared of this haunted house. I'm an adult. It's like, no, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen next, and I'm not going to think too hard about it. I'm just going to like enjoy this fucking experience. Or like if go to see a movie, I'm not that person who's like, is he going to die? Do you think he's going to die? Or like, what's going to happen next? I'm not going to fucking ask that question. I'm not going to read ahead. I'm not going to be the person who reads ahead to see what the end of the Marvel movie is. Like,
yeah, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm gonna go. I don't want to see the preview. I want to go in there, fucking dry.
Yeah,
and
you want to experience that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Be able to not have the calluses on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's it, then I want to be there and be flexing too. You know, because that's when things felt better. You know, like how much better was it than when you were like 14 or 15 years old and there was some girl that you liked, and like if you got to sit close enough to her where like the backs of your hands touched each other, it was like,
oh yeah,
oh fuck,
oh, yeah. You might get a little bit of You might get some action like downstairs.
Right.
Yeah.
There might be some redirected blood flow.
Yeah. You're like, man, the back of her hand is warm.
Yeah,
I bet the rest of her's warm too.
But then you get to that point where like you're a full grown adult and like you've touched the backs of so many hands that there's no redirected blood flow. Yeah. In fact, you could choose a good night's sleep over touching the backs of hands with someone. You know, like this is fucking callous.
Yeah, the only thing that's gonna do the same thing to you is like, I don't know, if you're gonna poop on somebody or something.
Right, and that's what happens. I think that's why people shit on each other.
Yeah,
like literally poop on each other. That's why people do the Cleveland Steamers. Is because they have no feeling anymore.
Yep.
And to feel anything, they have to have a dump taken on their face.
Yep.
Or dump on someone's face.
Yeah, on the chest or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to confirm. So you're insinuating that people take dumps on each other because they don't get anything out of holding hands anymore? Is that
yeah. I mean, essentially,
saying, yeah.
Essentially, yes.
That's
exactly
the natural progression of things.
That's if you
it goes from hand holding to dumping, right? Right in that order.
This from a comic book, the same comic book that I just read.
That's exactly what I'm saying. When I read this, I was sent into a spiral of thoughts that essentially culminated in me realizing that when holding hands isn't meaningful anymore, you probably have to take a shit on someone.
You hold hands, then you shit on somebody, and then you ask them if they'd like to see a movie with you on Saturday.
You can always tell the kinkiest couples because they're walking down the sidewalks taking dumps on each other.
It's 2017. Why are we judging these couples?
No.
Okay?
That's not fair. Yeah.
All dumps matter.
Now that's a grand passion.
All right.
No, man, I just want to get back to that place. I want to get back to that place, and I don't know if it's possible. Where I don't.
You can never go back to that seventh
No,
grade
I don't
moment.
agree with that. I think
You can?
You can always go back.
You can't.
Yeah, you can.
No.
You can always go back.
You're never gonna get pumped up if your arm rubs up against
Yes,
someone
you
else.
can. You
never.
No, okay, yeah,
No, if you're still popping boners over that, man, like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
If you're not popping over that, you're not with the right person. You're not hanging around the right people.
no, this goes back to the last podcast, which I was saying it's love at first disgusting. Okay, you start out with that. You start out with okay. We're holding hands. My heart beats a little bit. That's the first kiss. Oh my God, this is happening. I feel flushed. There's blood rushing all over the place. I can't even think anymore. Then it gets a little bit, more mature into the relationship. And those things don't really matter anymore. They matter to a degree, okay? You don't want to do those things with other people, all right? I don't want to hold somebody else's hand because I'm in a relationship where that's an established thing that we do at this point. I want, Lacey's here, so I'm going to refer to her, but I want her head on my shoulder and that, sigh that I know she's going to sleep. These are things that... Yeah. If you would have let me finish, I would have said, I want the same thing from Dan. Okay? I know.
And that's even more.
Yes. When Dan and I are watching a movie... And he kind of does that half sigh and his feet rub together. That's just so beautiful when he's laying next to me on the couch.
You call it my little cricket moment.
Yeah, exactly. This is so intimate for a lie. People probably believe this right now. That's that intimate of a moment we just described. That's what I do with my wife. Are they in cahoots? Cahoots. No, but it's love at first disgusting. You build these things, okay? And at some point that you love somebody, and it goes beyond that. It goes beyond rubbing up against your shoulder. And there's probably going to be something. You might... I'm willing to admit this. If you're on a subway and you see somebody really attractive and you touch them, maybe some connection there for a brief moment, something like that you can harken back to it. But it's going to be fleeting unless, honestly, you're really pathetic and you have nothing in your life. If you have something established like that, that's not going to happen again, or you're really sad with what you have. It's not actually love that you have. But it leads up to love at first disgusting. That first time that you're I can't go out with you tonight. I have terrible diarrhea. And it's not getting out of it. It's that person has diarrhea. They're in the bathroom the entire night. The first time they fart in front of you, or you have to hold their hair back as they're vomiting into a toilet, and you're still
you
with that
realize they
person.
have a really long nipple hair.
Oh yeah. Or something weird that they're showing you for the first time, back knee hair. That doesn't exist. That's why do you have that?
Yeah.
You should cut that
Yeah.
or wax it.
Yeah.
But Lacey doesn't have back knee hair. You shouldn't be here in the
I
audience.
wasn't going to say that.
But
Now we all know.
Bringing this back to the actual comic, I want to shit on it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you know you love it.
Nice. Good. Very good. I don't disagree with what you guys were saying earlier, but I think that this comic really stretches its story. I think it actually would have been if you would have had more a concept of what was it, kids at a bank?
Yeah.
Four kids walking to a bank.
Four kids walk into a bank. More along that concept meets the first comic that we read, the Shadow on the Grave, in an anthology type. I feel the artwork, which I love, it's awesome in this book.
Yeah.
I feel the artwork stretched it to a full comic.
I thought it was garbage artwork.
You know what? Maybe not the artwork per se, but
that dude's face is so
you're right with that.
Angly. It took me out of every time there's a close up on his face.
Maybe I'm looking for the storyboarding. I think
the
stretched
layout.
it.
The layout.
The layout.
Design.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. My apologies.
The layout is very cool.
But you can see there's full pages where it's just the layout telling the rest of the story. I don't think there's enough here to constitute an actual comic book. I think it would have been better if you had other like-minded stories in a more anthology-based and then going back to what we were talking about previously with the price of a comic, for the same price, you get a lot less story. Yeah. The artwork isn't great, and there's a ton of ads in here, too.
Yes.
And overall, I was just I do agree with the more philosophical things that you were going over, but we could have had this same conversation for half or a quarter of the size of this comic book with a lot more content, and I would have been more willing to accept this as a comic book.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is the problem of like a Dynamite comic, because Dynamite is the publisher.
Yeah,
They're unlike Image, like where Image is like creator-owned projects. Like this is everything is owned by Dynamite, and these guys work for Dynamite to do this. So it's full of their ads, full of like it's short, which is obviously probably a cost-cutting method. I agree. Like there wasn't much to it until the very end, which I'll read it again because I like James Robinson. We read his Airboy a long time ago and we loved it.
Oh yeah, Airboy's fucking killer.
Yeah, like I got a soft spot for that guy, so I'll keep going with it. But like I would have rather seen this Image, no ads.
Agreed.
More. Like, maybe like a double first issue. You get a little bit more about that connection between the cop and the woman. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, there were a couple pages where the cop was talking about like getting fucking lunch. You could have cut that out, put in a couple more pages at the end.
I actually don't agree with that. I liked some of the bullshit, especially between the two cops, because it was illustrating like this dude's life is total shit. Like because he moved there for whatever reason, and the chief is like, I don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
He like to his face. He's like, sir, can I talk to you? And then the chief's like, yeah, what? He's like, I forget what he says, but then the chief's like, I don't fucking like you. I'm not going to make any secret of it. If I could fire you, I would, but I can't. So get the fuck out of my office. Everyone else in the whole place too is in like his partner's the only dude who'll even talk to him. And then like the
People
whole time,
in the town are just terrible.
Everybody
locals
sucks.
only. They're so like
yeah. And I thought the lunch thing was like a good illustration of like him, his partner being the only person who will talk to him, but even he's like, and you're buying lunch again today. Like just everything about his life sucks.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Was while we were talking all about the forlorn love or whatever, I thought that dynamic between the cop, that primary character, and all of his coworkers, the other cops, him being the outsider there, you kind of get like a Serpico sense almost. Mm-hmm. I found that to be more interesting. Like that drew me in more than the love connection that was sort of tacked on to the end, for me anyway. And maybe it's just because that was threaded throughout the whole issue that I read, and I found myself slowly becoming invested in his struggles just within his job.
I think that makes the love thing at the end more believable, where he's like, I mean, he clearly doesn't want to be in this position. He's like, fuck, this sucks. And then this like really exciting thing happens in this piece of shit town where it's like this beautiful woman robs a bank with her partner, and him like and they can like he's like, I fucking love her. Like it's my only job is to catch her doing this, but I fucking love her. And like I'm assuming that like that's the only interesting thing that's ever happened in this whole the town ever,
probably. Yeah.
And not only that, but he like doesn't like anybody who's in the whole town anyway. So he's like probably fairly willing to like. I'm sure in future issues he's probably going to be willing to be like, yeah, I don't really like being a cop anyway, and all those people in the town can suck my dick. So let's like get married. I love you. Like that. Yeah. I can see that being.
And my wife just died.
Yeah. And like so he's the one he's probably gonna, I assume he's gonna not quit, but be the conflicted one because she doesn't. Her only tie is dead. Like her partner's dead, and then her problem with him is that he killed the person that was her partner. So,
but she killed his partner.
Yeah, but he hasn't. He probably did. I mean, that's like the only guy he kind of gave a fuck about, but not really even really that much. So I'm thinking like he's going to be probably more into her than she is into him. But she feels like she can't be with him because her responsibility is to kill him.
No, but I think that's going to be how she compromises it. That since her partner killed his partner,
maybe
and he killed him, then it's sort of like everything's equaled out and or evened out, and now they can be together and fucking have some adventures. That's totally. It's kind of predictable. Like I said, this story isn't anything that we haven't seen, but James Robinson, just because of Airboy,
I don't think
I'll keep reading this because.
Yeah,
I mean, first issue of Airboy, I fucking know where I was going after that.
Right, it was weird.
And I'm not gonna pretend I know where this is going either. Like, I mean, it's likely that what you just said might happen, but it's also, I mean, having read some James Robinson stuff, like I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Like, this is up until this point, this is not a story that we haven't seen before.
Right.
But like, I'm willing to give it another shot.
Yeah.
Because of James Robinson.
Yeah. Totally. So, will we read it, Dan?
Yes.
Chris?
No.
Joe?
No, I might get better though.
Greg?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I'll read the next one.
I'll definitely read the next one. I feel like I don't even have to say it.
No.
I feel like I say that all the time. For every single book.
Yeah, whenever you say no, it's going to be a momentous occasion.
Yeah, like a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
We need to have some music for that moment. Maybe some organ music.
Yeah.
Is it Fugue in D? What's the...
Oh, wait, no, not that.
But just the last part of that.
Yeah.
With like a lightning crash at the end.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, it won't be lightning crashes. It'll be lightning crashes.
Ain't no mother dies.
Her placenta falls to the floor.
Who wrote
That has to be the most disgusting lyric.
Yeah, why?
Those lyrics are beautiful.
What, beautiful?
The whole song is a beautiful song.
Placenta falls to the
That
floor?
little fucking Gollum-looking dickhead with the bald head lying on.
Yeah, he looks like one of the fucking puppets.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, that's exactly what he looks like.
How do you pronounce his last name? It's Ed Polish. Just
I have
vowels.
no idea. I have
That's
no
it.
idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right. Well,
That's it. I think that's good.
it.
That's enough. Yeah,
that's
that's
it,
the
man.
second or third episode we did today. I don't know how we're going to cut this up, but
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Special thanks to Rick Seaback for coming out again. That was fucking awesome. Special thanks to Zeke's for sponsoring this podcast. Go get some Zeke's coffee. It's all around Pittsburgh. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. Shout out to Epicast, everyone in the family there, Buzzy, Nick, everybody. iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Grown Up Human Comic People, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, at grownuphumans. Everybody say peace up, A-Town down. Dan?
Hey, thanks for listening. You can get all the comics at the store or online.
Chris?
You know what? Hold on. Daniel,
see.
why are you so complacent? It's been 2 episodes. You didn't freak out at all.
That's not true. He freaked out a little bit just now. Like, kind of. He was yelling a little bit.
Yeah.
Freaks out.
I'll tell you what happened naturally. We can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, honestly, Rick was.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes around.
He's a calming influence.
He is a calming influence.
Like
and,
he said, his face is always smiling.
True.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You can't be angry or in his presence.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I saw 2 doe embrace outside as he came in.
Yeah.
It's that type of...
Yeah, there was a bear that looked in here and he just gave us a thumbs up.
All right. Well, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. I'm Chris. Stay classy.
Jay, man.
See ya.
Greg.
You stay trashy, Pittsburgh.
Danny.
Good night.
I'm Jared. We're the Grown Up Humans. And have a lovely evening or whatever time of day it is.
It's like morning if I'm listening to this.
Right, sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably morning. This comes out at 6 o'clock every Wednesday, so yeah. Have a lovely day at work. You sad sacks. Damn it. It's so gross. Proficiency.
Human, comic,
Damn you, proficiency.
people.